Welcome to another Alchemy session. Today we're going to be talking about the Christ consciousness or the divine consciousness or the higher consciousness and ascending to a level where you can operate using some of the qualities that are reserved for special occasions such as joy, love, forgiveness, gratitude, peace. Normally, we should be able to all act from those places most of the time, but because we've been so suppressed due to the fear-based programming, we are thinking of these properties as properties of the divine, properties of the godlike, humans, properties of the monks, when in reality, these are the qualities, the states of mind we should operate. We should be able to operate within on an everyday basis. Now, this message almost didn't happen, so I know it's an important message when you face a lot of resistance before recording certain videos. I know this is going to be a session that's going to help someone. So hopefully you find something useful that you can bring into your own ascension journey. This is my story of self-discovery. This is my story of finding my way back to myself and understanding that it all starts with me. And maybe this topic of Christ consciousness is something that triggers certain people, certain groups, certain religious groups. And this is a disclaimer to say that I am not saying that Jesus Christ did not exist, does not exist, because I believe everything is a state of consciousness and everything is energy. So if you want to tap into the energy of Jesus Christ, you can call upon Jesus Christ to support you, to assist you, to guide you, to find the pieces of yourself that are lost, because this journey that we are on in terms of our self-discovery and coming back to ourselves, it's all about coming back within to reclaim that connection with God, with the universe, with source. That starts with you. It's not about outsourcing the labor, outsourcing the work and saying that somebody's going to come and save you, because that pretty much means that you're giving away your free will, you're giving away your power. The point of all of this is to take all the steps necessary for you to rediscover your power, your love, your faith, your trust within yourself, but also your trust within the divine, your trust in something far greater than yourself. So when the steps are being revealed to you, you follow them. You understand that nothing is random, that everything is connected. And for you to develop that sense of trust in the unknown, you have to have a serious trust in yourself. And in order for you to ascend to the point of this Christ consciousness, you will be given a series of obstacles, a series of challenges to overcome, especially if you're asking for strength. When you ask for strength, the universe will give you situations to prove to you that you are strong enough. So the first step of this alchemy session, there's going to be 3 8s, but we're going to start with the first 2 8s. And the reason I'm using 888 is, well, you see in the end, it's very symbolic of a phrase that we tend to use a lot in religion, but also in spirituality. But 8 is the symbol of the infinity. So when we have infinity, we have uninterrupted system, energetic system. So the point of this exercise is for you to be able to always have a place to come back to and not get stuck, not get interrupted. You don't want to disconnect the two halves, the left brain and the right brain, but also within the left brain and within the right brain, within the logic and the intuition, there are also 8s or infinities. There are also patterns that can help you connect and stay uninterrupted, flow, but also there are patterns that can help you disconnect. And it's essential that you're able to recognize these patterns. But the first step is the conscious mind. The conscious mind is the place to start because it's the place where you can make the changes as soon as now. You pay attention to what thoughts are running in your mind and you learn from them. They're giving you information, they're giving you feedback. And if there's a thought that does not feel like it belongs to your reality, you simply let it go. You simply say, okay, I hear you, but I don't resonate with what you're saying. So thank you. Bye. And the point of the conscious mind is to guide your thinking. This is the air energy. This is the thinker. This is the domain of the ideas. So the conscious mind is where you are quite literally like the airbender, I can say it, airbender that can change your thought patterns and restore that infinity. This is where you can shine the most as an alchemist, starting to practice alchemy in your life. Now we move to the subconscious mind, and this is where it gets tricky because the conscious mind, let's say you're at the age of 30 and you're starting to think for yourself in terms of, I don't like this type of behavior that I'm doing. I'm going to take accountability. I don't like that, I haven't progressed in this domain of my life. I'm going to take accountability. And so you have a lot of control when it comes to the conscious mind. And it doesn't matter when you start, at the age of 20, at the age of 30, at the age of 40, the changes will happen as soon as you start. With the subconscious mind, however, the point of you starting, let's say you start at the age of 30, that's 30 years of you analyzing what beliefs you have picked on from society, from your environment. So the subconscious mind requires a serious dive, but you're going to start seeing changes in your reality when you dive into the subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind is the earthly energy. It's your actions. Everything that you do corresponds to what you believe in. So your conscious mind, you can change it. You can shift your mindset from fixed mindset to growth mindset in seconds, in days, and you're going to start to see the results. But inevitably, you're going to enter the same point where you start to ask yourself, but why am I acting that way? Why am I doing this? Why am I still choosing to spend time with toxic people, toxic patterns, toxic environments, toxic behaviors? It has to do with the subconscious mind. It has to do with your beliefs. So the conscious mind is all about I think. It's the air energy, it's the thoughts, it's the thinker within you. The subconscious mind is the earthly energy, and it is also water because it runs deep. But for the purposes of this exercise, think of the subconscious mind as the part of your consciousness that directs every single choice that you take throughout the day, especially if you're operating on autopilot. So when you wake up in the morning and you start scrolling through your phone instead of going and doing a workout, just one example, this has to do with the belief that is rooted in your subconscious mind. And that belief can be, I am scared of success. If you have a belief that you're scared of success, a part of you is always going to self sabotage you because a part of you is scared of what's going to happen when you succeed. A part of you maybe doesn't feel worthy of you leveling up to the next level where you replace the mindless scrolling with a mindful meditation, mindful workout, mindful cooking, a healthy meal. The conscious mind is a little bit easier to tame. The subconscious mind will rule you until you insert your dominance. And usually, what happens is with the subconscious mind, you have to be very gentle with yourself because you don't want to punish yourself. Society is doing that enough. And this is where we start to see the beginning of the separation. So the conscious mind, the logic, this is where you begin to start to explore the masculine energy within yourself. We all have a masculine and a feminine. We all have the light and the dark, but we also have the masculine and the feminine. So the conscious mind has to do with the discipline. It has to do with using your thought patterns to rationalize, to make decisions, to make estimates about your life, the world around you, your community. And if you're operating from a very fixed mindset, or if you're operating from a thought pattern that is not beneficial to yourself, you're going to be brought down to the lower masculine, and you're going to be brought back to these thought patterns that are very negative. And the more you ascend, the more you're going to be brought to the higher, well, not brought, ascended to the higher masculine. Now, with the subconscious mind, it's the same logic. You have the scale of consciousness, and that can be applied to both the left side and the right side. The left side is the logical side, is the conscious mind. It is the masculine energy. And we all have, doesn't matter what your gender is, we all have a masculine energy and a feminine energy. And you need to be able to dive into the conscious mind and reset wherever you have these blockages to have that 8 pattern, that infinity working flawlessly, so that there are no energetic leaks, energetic blockages in the way that you think. And then you proceed to the subconscious mind, where you start to explore the beliefs. And this is probably going to take a little bit longer, because there is a reason society has attempted for so long to block our intuition, to block us from operating from the right side of our brain. And it's perhaps why we are using so little of our brain capacities, because we're being restricted to the logical side. I will probably quote this quote in every video I do, but Einstein said it: logic will get you from A to Z, imagination will take you anywhere. So the more you dive into the subconscious mind, the more you're going to expand on your imagination, the more you're going to see where your lack comes from, your beliefs that block you. And you're going to reset that feminine energy. And the feminine energy in society has also been suppressed for a very long time. So we have a very masculine world today, very constricted to the thinking. Let's go back to Jesus Christ. Let's go back to the Christ consciousness. What is Jesus Christ known for? His kindness, his heart, his ability to perform miracles. Miracles do not comply with the logical mind. Miracles are part of the imagination, part of believing in the impossible, part of creating the impossible. It is the integration of the masculine and the feminine where we feel more complete. But we need to be able to ascend both the conscious mind and the subconscious mind that is within us. We need to be comfortable stepping into our masculine energy and into our feminine energy. And the State of Consciousness by David Hawkins has this breakdown as to what it means to ascend. So when you apply that to the thinking and to the believing, you start to see, or you start to track. You can keep a journal for a week. You can keep a journal for a week with every single thought that kind of brings your attention back to your thinking, back to your logical side. So if a thought pattern, you notice something about the way that you're thinking about life. For example, you think, oh, I hate this, or oh, I don't like this. Why do you think that is being fed constantly on a loop inside of your mind? That is bringing you down to the level of anchor, to the level of apathy, it's bringing you down in terms of your own thinking. You're spending time with yourself, complaining within your own mind, instead of focusing on what you love. So if you keep a journal for a week, discovering what is it that is bringing you down, you're going to discover how you can ascend in terms of your consciousness, in terms of your conscious mind. But then if you keep your habits for a week and you kind of give them a score, let's say for a whole week, you track your habits every single day, the good, the bad, and the ugly, the mindless scrolling, the fast food, eating that chocolate when you didn't want to eat the chocolate, but something in you was like, let's have the chocolate. It's just an example. And then try to understand why you behave the way that you did. And I guarantee you, you're going to find within the subconscious mind some sort of belief that gets you down to the level of shame, to the guilt. There is a part of you, a belief in the belief system that keeps you performing habits that keep you in that state of guilt and shame because of projections that you felt throughout your life, projections that have persuaded you it is not safe to be yourself. It is not safe for you to operate within the feminine energy. It's not safe for you to unblock that flow of the feminine energy. And so this is how society has blocked our ascension, by creating these scenarios, these narratives, these onboarding systems throughout society, within all the industries around us, that keep us in a state of fear, in a state of grief, in a state of apathy, guilt, and shame. And it's quite interesting that the anger almost feels like the courage to, do something about it. But if you look at the courage is just below neutrality. So courage and the ability to act is still you using the logical mind, the thinking mind, the masculine energy. And when we say the power, there's tremendous power in surrendering. Surrendering comes to acceptance, comes to kind of that willingness to open yourself to new possibilities, to expand your imagination. So for a week, try this. Write down every single thought that you recognize has some significance to the way that you're operating right now. And for a whole week, write down every single habit that you're performing, every single action that you're performing, that without judgment, just write them down, maybe score them at the end of the day. Recognize which ones of these actions are making you feel good and which one of these actions are making you feel bad, because that's how you start to dissect and apply your ability to be the airbender that can, pierce through the thoughts and remove that which needs to go, but also start to understand, almost when you have a plant and you have deep roots, when you need to repot that plant because the plant is outgrowing its environment, think of yourself as that. You're essentially opening the soil to figure out what's happening with the roots, and any faulty root, any faulty limiting belief that is blocking your growth needs to be removed. So when you're being replanted in a soil that allows you to bloom and blossom, you have removed the obstacles. You have given yourself a far greater chance for you to blossom. Yes, the universe is supporting you, the universe is helping you, but you are the one that is empowering yourself to bloom and blossom and thrive in any environment. Because the world as we know it right now isn't all sunshine and rainbows, it's quite stormy. So you need to give yourself the best chance for you to grow, regardless of the conditions around you. And it's the same with that saying with the boats. The boats are going to be the safest when they are at the shore level, when they're not in the open seas, but they're created to be in the seas. Boats, the oh my god, the ships. Lost the word. Boats and ships, they're created to be in the open seas, and so are you. You're created to be that explorer, to be that adventurer that is getting to know the world. And when you are afraid, you block your own growth. We don't have forever. So anytime that you think that you're not enough, that you're not strong enough, that you're not going to be able to do it, think of this. Where is this coming from? Where is this taking you? If you're going against your own abilities, you're being brought down to fear, which is 100 in terms of that consciousness. And when you start to operate from that expanded mindset, expanded intuition, you start to operate from the level of joy, which is 5 times the frequency of fear, higher than that. And so this is the point where the third 8 comes into the picture. So we have the 8 of the conscious mind, the 8 of the I believe, the subconscious mind, and we have the 8 of the heart, which is I feel. And so the first place to start is the thoughts. It's the easiest. You're going to start to see the changes in real time as soon as you start working on your mindset. The second place is the subconscious mind, where you investigate your actions because they are connected to a belief. Everything that you do is corresponding to a belief that you have. Think of your mind, think of your whole being as a computer, as artificial intelligence. Think of yourself as artificial intelligence that is at the level of a computer, a very smart computer. Every action that you perform is being performed because you have some sort of program software installed in your system. So if you didn't have that software installed in your system, you wouldn't be able to perform what you're performing. And sometimes you have software programs that are wasting your time, that are wasting your abilities, your energy, that are there for distraction. Think of all these apps that you can download to play games. They're wasting your time. Yes, they're probably expanding certain abilities for you to dream, for you to imagine, for you to use colors and, put things into boxes, categorize. But they're probably beliefs that you've outgrown, that it's time for you to revisit and uproot. And once you've done the conscious mind reprogramming, the subconscious mind reprogramming, there comes the heart. And the heart is going to be tricky one, because essentially you still need to track back all the situations that have broken pieces of you and recollect those items. But let's look at this from a logical point of view. Let's look at this from a way that we can take practical actions right away. So you've done the conscious mind reprogramming, you have the higher masculine and the lower masculine, and you've understood how the game is being played when it comes to your thoughts. If you're not mindful of what you're thinking about, your mind is going to be hijacked by the system, by the people around you, by the messages that you see on social media. The moment you allow yourself to just be plugged into the flow that is outside of you, this infinity that is running within you gets interrupted. It gets scattered. So your mind goes all over the place because you've let go of your ability to be that airbender. Remember that the conscious mind is the energy of the air. It's the element of the air. It's the thinking, but you have the power to direct that. You have the power to restore your ability to direct where your mind goes, where your energy goes, where your energy flows. Then we have before we go there, with the conscious mind, once you've kind of restored that ability to control what happens within, to direct it, not control it, direct it. Let it flow, but control it. If a thought isn't for you, remove it. If a thought is giving you something to investigate, ruminate over it. So once you're able to master the conscious mind, you're able to transmute the energies. So the lower masculine comes to the point of the suffering, and it usually is anger. It's very outward. So the masculine, when the masculine goes into the suffering mode of the consciousness, they're usually outward. They usually it's more the activation of the anger within the masculine energy. And in order for you to be able to transmute that and translate it into an ascended version towards the heart, you need to be able to channel your anger into passion. So when you get angry at not being able to succeed with your business, not being able to succeed with the project, think of your why. Think about why you started this attempt. It's not about the failures, it's about continuing to show up every single day, because success happens when you keep showing up. And once you're able to transform the anger into passion, that is the inner child, the masculine energy of the inner child, successfully integrated within the heart. You're able to show that vulnerability and shift the narrative. And from the higher masculine perspective, you're able to activate that protector, the leader who can lead with love, the leader who can inspire others because he remembers his why, which is a very powerful statement. If you're able to shift your conscious mind, take control of it, embody the airbender, you're able to translate that into your heart. You're able to expand your heart to channel more of the inner child within you and to become that protective energy, the protector energy. Once again, it does not matter what your gender is. This has to do with you expanding your consciousness, you being able to master everything, all of it. You need to be able to master all of these things if you are on a mission to embody the Christ consciousness. You are taking full ownership of your life. You are becoming the creator of your reality. This has nothing to do with you being a woman or a man. This has to do with your consciousness being expanded to the point where you're able to do it all, not because you don't need anybody else, but because you need to be able to understand what it means to be whole so that you can serve the world, humanity, so that you can bring your soul purpose onto earth. Then the subconscious mind, where we have the higher feminine and the lower feminine, once you're able to, again, reset that infinity, reset that energetic circuit within yourself. So you're able to remove all these beliefs that are keeping you down. And once again, this isn't to do with the fact that once you do all this work, you're not going to have the negative thoughts, you're not going to have the angry thoughts, you're not going to have the negative beliefs that you're unworthy. No, it's about you recognizing and being able to add a little bit more love, add a little bit more compassion. This is all about you doing the heavy lifting in the beginning, doing the heavy work in the beginning, so that once you proceed forward with leveling up, succeeding, expanding, you know exactly where to go. You can retrace the steps with much more ease, because this flow, in order for this to continue to be flowing, essentially these energetic circuits to be flowing, you need to be consistently monitoring yourself, returning to yourself, which is why meditation and journaling are very powerful tools, because you're making time and space for yourself to do the integration, to do the investigation. And so with the feminine energy, with the subconscious mind, once you're able to kind of balance yourself, restore that flow, you activate the inner child of the feminine, the inner girl, the inner child of the girl, and you activate the nurturer, the mother energy, which translates into joy and the ability to heal. So with the lower feminine energy, usually the suffering gets manifested as sadness. So you get, if men get really angry and vocal, women tend to become smaller and quieter and kind of the level of sadness. And so their ability to transmute that sadness into something, whether it's art, whether it's a passion project, translates into joy. So you're able to share that joy with the world. And this is more commonly associated with the feminine energy. Passion, more to do with the masculine energy, joy, more to do with the feminine energy. And the point of this exercise, once again, it's not to create divisions. It's not to say if you connect yourself more to the feeling of joy that you're a girl, and so on and so on. This has to do with you unlocking all aspects of your consciousness so that you can relate to anyone on planet Earth right now, because that is how you transcend, that is how you ascend, that is how you embody the Christ consciousness. You're able to unlock all the doors of your own consciousness so that you can help as many people as possible on earth, so that you can connect to as many people as possible on earth, because we're each students and teachers. And so the higher feminine energy gets translated into the healer, the nurturer. So you are able to heal with your emotional intelligence, with your intuitive abilities, with your advice, with your understanding, with your empathy. And so once you've done this huge, tremendous work of working on your conscious mind, working on your subconscious mind, and working on your heart, you're able to integrate all of it and activate the 888 portal, which in turn opens further your heart chakra, which is a portal in itself, and it allows more of your higher self to be grounded within yourself. So this is the point of the higher self integration. This is where we ascend from I think, I believe, I feel to I understand. Because you've done the groundwork. You've reset the energetic pathways within yourself. You understand how the game is being played. You understand that there were certain lessons that you had to learn, and you're able to come back, retrace those steps when you need to. And now, this is the Holy Trinity: the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the heart. And once your Holy Trinity is working in unison, you're able to create this portal for your higher self to be grounded within you. You're able to ground more of your higher self, which ironically is the energy of the fire. So this is the most uplifting energy. So whenever you have mastered the other elements and they are working in unison, you're automatically grounding more of your higher self. You're grounding more of source energy within your being, within your presence, within everything that you do. And this statement of I understand is the statement of the crown chakra as well. So in the process of doing all of this work, you are actively resetting all of your chakras, all of your energetic centers. This is working on so many levels. This isn't even working just on the logical side, but this information is very advanced, and it has come to me in many pieces. It's like Lego blocks. They're being dropped from the sky and I'm collecting them. So this is, I suppose, the simplest way to describe the 888 alchemy, to help you reset your energy so that you can ground more of your higher self, more of the divine's plan, more of source, and for you to embody the Christ consciousness that is referred to as the miraculous worker, as the light worker, as the person who is able to go and shift people's lives, people's energy, wherever he goes. That is an ability that you possess as well when you do the work, because this ability is not reserved to specific messengers of the divine. Yes, there are certain people that are appointed, they have divine missions, they are here to achieve something as part of the divine plan, but you are able to become that creator, to become that achiever, to become that miracle performer within your own life, and set up new structures in your community, create a business that solves a huge problem in your society, as in your experience of society, wherever you are based into the world. And it has to do with the conscious mind, with the subconscious mind, and the heart. And the best way to describe them is within these elements: the air, the earth, the water, and the fire, because we are made of the same element that everything else is made of. And it has to do, all of this, with the scale of consciousness. The future that we're going forward, especially with the mass awakening, the mass ascension, has to do with this scale of consciousness. And the earlier you start to work with it, the earlier you start to work with taking control of your own programming, the faster you're going to see results in your life, the faster you're going to see your life transform, the faster you're going to manifest your dream life, which has to do with you embodying more of the person that can sustain that life. If you want to be an abundant person who is trusted by the community, where do you think you need to be in terms of this scale? A trustworthy leader has to embody the higher masculine energy in terms of the conscious mind. If you are not able to tame your mind, to be the airbender of your own mind, you will not be able to embody the leader, the trustworthy leader. And then from that point forward, you need to understand, what is it that you want to communicate out into the world? What is it that you want to accomplish into the world? And if you've watched any of my content, I keep referring back to the natal birth chart and to you discovering what elements you have in your natal birth chart, because your natal birth chart are your earth instructions. It tells you what you're here to do, what mission you have to do, and what are your strengths. Where are you going to find your growth opportunities? But even if you didn't know all of this, because you're constantly in communication with your higher self, whether you know it or not, once you do the work to establish that connection within the Holy Trinity, you're able to ground more of your higher self. You're able to understand, because all of this is work that connects you to your chakras, to the energetic centers. This is probably the most logical way that I can describe it in order to give you a step-by-step approach. But you are working with energy. Once you start working with the conscious mind, with the subconscious mind, with the heart, you're working with energy. You're working with concepts that far extend beyond the logical mind. You are starting to receive intuitive guidance. You're starting to ground more of this information. Everything that you're seeing in this video, was delivered to me in terms of messages. And I had to, I have my notebook here with all these drawings. This was all given to me with my consciousness. And that is the power that happens when you're able to work with your subconscious mind, your conscious mind, and the heart, when you're able to reset and remove all that programming that does not belong to you. You're able to reestablish that holy trinity within yourself and operate with your higher self in real time, so that the messages that you're sending out into the world are coming from your higher self. They're coming from a higher point of view, from a higher perspective, and they might be coming from source, they might be coming from other beings. Once we ascend from the 3D world, we start to work with concepts and beings that have been erased from textbooks, from books. And once you start to accept the quantum realm, the timelines, the abundance, the unicorns and the dragons, anything is possible. If you think of yourself as a limitless being, you would limit yourself anytime that you start to judge something, anytime that you start to fear something. And it usually comes to the point that if you're judging something, if you are afraid of something, that is a lesson for you that will help you ascend. And if you're able to track where you're judging, where you're afraid, does it have to do with the conscious mind? Does it have to do with the subconscious mind or your heart? You're going to be able to ascend and integrate. And usually the subconscious mind is the biggest blocker, because as I said, this is the earth energy. So this is all of the actions that we do. Every action that you perform, every toxic habit, every habit that makes you unhappy on some level is connected to a belief. So it's like a code that's running in your mind, like a program that's running constantly. How would you go against your own programming if you believe, if that is a line of code that you have in your subconscious mind, that you are unworthy of receiving more than a specific set of treatment? You would not be able to go against that belief until you understood that you have that belief. So the subconscious mind is going to be the biggest blocker that you experience when it comes to your ascension, because you're going to be able to see your actions. You're going to be baffled as to, why am I behaving the way that I'm behaving? Write down every single action that you perform for a week and figure out, what are the actions that make you unhappy? What are the actions that bring you down to the level of suffering? That's where you'll find these beliefs that you've adopted in the process of living that block you from ascending to the level of reestablishing that connection with your higher self, with the divinity within you, with the Christ consciousness within yourself. As I said, to become a miracle performer is to believe in miracles, is to believe in yourself, is to believe in that limitlessness. And we're all limitless. That is, the idea that we're all here to experiment, we're all here to learn, we're all here to expand. There's a reason growth mindset is becoming so popular. We're kind of tired from limiting ourselves. We know there is more. And we've been fed for a very long time a scenario as to, especially with the movies. If you look at the narrative in movies, they've spent billions to persuade us to believe in fairy tales, that somebody's going to come and save us, that somebody's going to come and do something for us, when in reality, we are the miracle workers. We are the ones that create these miracles. And we've been fed this information to not believe in ourselves. And even if you go back to the Matrix, remember the quote, believe in yourself, Neo. It comes back to your belief system. And from my experience, if you are afraid, that's not going to block you from doing things. If you feel sad, that's not going to block you from doing things. But if there is a belief in your belief system that is rooted somewhere, that is very crucial, as I said, it's like a little bit like the plant, and you're starting to figure out where in those roots something is blocking the growth. When you remove that belief, you're going to blossom further. You're going to move into higher domains of your own experience on earth. And so the subconscious mind is probably the trickiest, because the heart loves. Once you ascend to the level of love, you're able to transmute everything. Once you find your joy, once you find your peace. So keep integrating. The Holy Trinity is the key to reconnecting with your higher self and reconnecting with that Christ consciousness, that has been positioned to be reserved for a certain select group of people out there into the world. And that is what religion would like you to believe as well, that you need to go to a specific building, you need to go to a specific speaker to have access to your higher self, to have access to Jesus Christ, to God, to archangels and angels. When in reality, you have that connection at any second, at any point of the day, so long as you come back to yourself in unison with the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the heart. And that portal is working. That is the 888 portal of alchemy that you've just opened to understanding more of your mission, of yourself, of your place in the world, but also of what you're here to establish in the world. Hope you found this useful. If you have any questions, let me know. There will be some more alchemy videos coming, but this felt like a very timely message for the times that we're living in today, where we're witnessing a lot of war, we're witnessing a lot of fear, we're witnessing a lot of last minute propaganda, I would say, because the mass awakening has begun and people are unlocking more of themselves. They are looking within because their higher self is saying it's time. It's time to do the work. It's time to believe. It's time to remember who you are. And if you are to remember something from this, remember that you are limitless. And just because your experiments yesterday failed doesn't mean that you didn't learn something from them. Just because your interactions with people did not lead to the results you wanted doesn't mean that you didn't impact them in some way, because our presence, even when we are imperfect, even when we don't believe that we have reached the level of ascension we want to be, our essence is still being communicated through everything that we do. Even when we're blocked on a level of the conscious or subconscious mind, even when our heart is a little bit blocked, our essence shines through everything that we do. And when we have good intentions, it doesn't matter what interpretations people have. When we have a clear consciousness, that allows us to do the work faster. So keep your heart pure, keep your heart posture pure, keep your intentions pure. Even if you're facing a lot of resistance, even if you're facing a lot of people that don't understand you, there is power in everything that you do, and everything that you do is not random. Everything is connected, even if you don't understand it. So trust the guidance that comes from within. The guidance that comes from within is the guidance from your higher self. And the more you're connecting to your higher self, the more you're doing the work for your conscious mind, subconscious mind, and the heart, the more you'll be able to understand in real time why you're doing the things that you're doing. And the more you understand, the more you're going to proceed forward. As I said, this video had a lot of resistance. I experienced a lot of resistance before coming to this and recording this. So, and I know from other people that are creating content right now to help the ascension process, they are facing a lot of resistance. Videos getting deleted, plans getting interrupted. That is a sign that you're on the right track. So don't take the resistance as something that is negative. Think of it as a necessary way for you to break through the current environment that you're in. Believe in yourself and remember that you are limitless. And if you want to continue this alchemy, 888 alchemy, and apply it for a week, you will discover certain treasures that are within you and certain growth opportunities that are entirely based on your thoughts and your actions. Keep a journal for 7 days. Everything that you think that is kind of making a bigger impression on you, everything that you do, doesn't matter what it is, and then score it at the end of the day. And after 7 days, figure out what are the thoughts that you want to keep? What are the actions that you want to keep? What are the actions that you want to change? What are the actions that you absolutely want to remove from your lifestyle? And your thought patterns are going to help you support that transition as well. Atomic Habits is a great book to guide you with this. But above all, don't outsource the work. Believe in yourself and